Welcome back to Tech Take. I'm Adam Housley in Los Angeles. You know, finding a mate online nowadays is pretty normal, and there's now a website for people who might, well, be considering leaving the U.S. if President Trump was to happen. Joining us to talk all about it and why he set it up, Joe Goldman. He is the founder and CEO of Maple Match. It's at Maple Match on Twitter, also maplematch.com. Joe, thanks for joining us from New York.
Thanks, Adam.
Okay, to be fair in the political world, I assume if they're fleeing the burn or fleeing Hillary, they could also find matches, I assume, right? Or
Absolutely.
Is this just for those who don't want to deal with the Trump?
Right. So Maple Match is for everybody. If you're interested in finding a Canadian partner or someone else in the United States, Maple Match is for you, certainly.
Okay. So when did this start? What made you do it? I know there's always been the joke, at least for the last few election cycles, and generally speaking, it's been on one side, but it happens on both, where you hear the Hollywood candidate or the Hollywood celebrity say, "Well, if so and so gets elected, I'm going to Canada." I lived in Canada. I love Canada, so I don't think it's that. I think it's a great place to go. But is this something? I mean, where did this thought come up? Did you think about it back in 2008 or 2012, or was this something that just because of the whole idea of Donald Trump being popular that it might be a good time to get things rolling?
Great. So Maple Match came out of an idea for a dating app I had a couple years ago when I thought, people really need more human interaction in real life in this dating environment. They don't need to necessarily swipe or search again. They really want human interaction. And given the current political climate in the United States, I thought, why not connect Americans with Canadians, people who are just like them on the other side of the border?
Yeah, people that seem to like their prime minister pretty well. When he was down here, he obviously caught the eye of a lot of Americans. Question for you now: you have 30,000 signups in 2 weeks. Now, if someone was to find a match and they weren't someone who wants to be here when Trump gets elected, or for that matter, if Hillary or the Byrne gets elected, and they go to Canada and they find their mate, now you have the issue of going back and forth and getting visas, right?
Well, I think it depends. So there are a number of Canadians that live in the United States and a number of Americans that live in Canada. Plus, there are a lot of border towns like Buffalo and Detroit where it's very easy for Americans and Canadians to meet. Now, obviously, if you live in Boca Raton and you want to date somebody who lives in British Columbia, there's some distance there. But we're working to make sure that Maple Match users have the opportunity to really engage over our platform.
So has anybody, have you had any serious relationships so far? I mean, you see this on some of the other dating sites when they advertise on television, so-and-so married, so-and-so married. Now, obviously, you guys are very young as a company in a match service, but have you seen or heard of any relationships that have gotten pretty serious already?
So through Maple Match, not yet, but I like to say Maple Match is something that's connecting Americans and Canadians, but ultimately the foundation has been there for decades. Americans and Canadians have been meeting, marrying, dating, being friends for so long that Maple Match is offering Americans and Canadians the opportunity to finally meet in an environment that's safe and friendly.
Yeah, the 8,000 Canadian signups were interesting. It's about a quarter of your signups. Clearly, they're not fleeing the Byrne or Trump or Hillary.
So we actually get a number of comments from people who sign up for our website. We have a very engaged user base, and they're really great to work with. The Canadians who sign up are really just interested in meeting Americans, and I think that reflects the Americans that just want to meet Canadians. It's not something new or radical that these Americans and Canadians want to meet. It's just the way it is, and we're really excited to help these people who've been wanting to meet for so long have this opportunity.
What's interesting to me is I know you guys aren't an anti-Trump website, but obviously with a couple of big-name celebrities who've come out and said they're going to Canada if Trump gets elected, I'm sure that does help in the whole marketing side of things.
So naturally we have a funny website, but not everything that's funny is a joke. And Maple Match isn't political. Maple Match is about bringing people together.
Have you any feedback on the current political situation in the U.S.? Do you have an opinion?
So I think that in the United States, a number of Americans are concerned about the political situation with a potential Trump candidacy, and a number of Americans are concerned about other candidacies as well. But right now, I'm really focused on making Maple Match an opportunity for people to meet and turning this political crisis into something that's a lot more positive.
Joe Goldman, we appreciate it. I have a bunch of friends up north of the border, and I think it's a good idea. So we look forward to seeing how Maple Match does. You have 30,000 so far in 2 weeks. Joe Goldman, appreciate you joining us. You can find out more at maplematch.com, also at Maple Match on Twitter. Joe is in New York, and we will follow up with you, Joe, for sure.
Sounds good. Thank you.
All right, I'm Adam Housley in Los Angeles, and you're watching Tech Take.